The world outside Vin Diesel's office stretched endlessly across the skyline towers of steel and glass, piercing through a violet evening sky. From the top floor of the Diesel Global Intelligence Building, everything looked controlled, predictable, and firmly in his grasp. But inside the office itself, silence pressed tightly around him. Vin stood alone beside a towering window, his broad shoulders tense as he scanned a report glowing on a transparent digital screen. Stock predictions, encrypted messages, satellite coordinates. His days were filled with data, intelligence, and power. Yet none of it filled the void left behind by Elena's death. 2 years had passed, but the ghost of that night haunted him like an unfinished sentence. He tried not to think about it. He failed every time. A soft, hesitant knock broke the silence. "Enter," Vin said without turning. The door creaked open. Footsteps, light, almost timid, approached, slowly. Vin glanced over his shoulder, expecting his assistant or one of his operatives. Instead, he saw a young black girl, no more than 14, standing in the middle of his office with her hands clasped tightly in front of her. Her shoes were dirty. Her hoodie was torn at the sleeve. Her breathing was uneven, as if she had been running. Vin frowned. "This floor is restricted. How did you get past security?" She didn't answer. She simply looked at him directly, fearlessly, as though she had come for something far greater than permission or safety. "Mr. Diesel," she said softly, but her voice carried across the room with unexpected strength. Vin straightened. "Who are you?" The girl swallowed hard. Her eyes glistened as if she carried a truth too heavy for her small frame. Her hands trembled slightly, yet her gaze did not waver. "My name is Maya," she said. Then she stepped forward, lifting her chin with fragile but determined courage. "And I came here because your wife is still alive." The words hit Vin like a blow. For an instant, he forgot how to breathe. The office, the skyline, the world, everything narrowed into a single stunned heartbeat. His chest tightened, and he felt his pulse surge with a violent mix of disbelief and hope he didn't dare trust. "Elena?" He whispered, the name almost painful to speak. Maya nodded once. "She's alive. She sent me." Silence fell again, suffocating, unreal. Vin crossed the room with slow, controlled steps, stopping barely a foot from her. Even then, he leaned closer, searching her expression as if trying to peel back any layer of uncertainty. "You don't understand?" he said quietly, almost threateningly, but the threat wasn't meant for her. "My wife died in an explosion. I saw the wreck myself." Maya stood her ground. "That's what they wanted you to believe." "They." The word lodged itself in Vin's chest like a shard of glass. Maya reached into her pocket and produced a small data chip, enclosed in a cracked plastic shell. She extended it toward him with trembling fingers. "She told me to find you," Maya continued. "She said they would move her soon. She didn't know how much time you'd have." Sven stared at the chip, but his mind spiraled backward, memories of Elena's smile, her laugh, the way she said his name when she was teasing him, memories he had forced into a grave he'd never wanted to dig. His hands closed around the chip slowly, carefully, as if it were the most fragile thing in the world. "Maya," he said, voice steady but burning. "If this is some kind of lie, it's not." She inhaled shakily. "Mr. Diesel, she saved my life. And she told me I had to save hers." Vin's heart slammed against his ribs. For the first time in 2 years, hope crawled its way into his chest. Dangerous, unwelcome, blinding. But alive. Just like Elena. Vin stared at the small chip in his hand as if it were a piece of fate cold. Light but heavy enough to drag his entire world off its axis. For a long moment, he couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even think clearly. The possibility that Elena was alive wasn't something he could just absorb. It struck him like lightning, burning through the grief he had lived with for 2 years. Maya watched him cautiously, standing still, but ready to run if she had to. She had made it this far past security, through floors of scanners, to the most heavily protected office in the building. She knew what she risked by coming here. But she stayed silent, letting him process the truth she carried. Vin finally exhaled slowly. "Come with me." He didn't wait for her reply. He walked toward a reinforced door behind his desk, pressed his thumb to the biometric scanner, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside was his private operations chamber, dark walls lined with digital panels, encrypted servers, and military-grade tech. Maya hesitated at the entrance. "Is it safe?" "As safe as anywhere can be," Vin said, though he wasn't entirely convinced anymore. She stepped inside. Vin inserted the chip into a port on the main console. Instantly, the screen lit up with a cascade of encrypted symbols. The system requested a passcode. Vin typed a sequence only he and Alina had ever used, the one they created together the night of his first major victory. Laughing over wine and dreams of a quieter life, the screen froze. Then the encryption broke. Apart. A video window blinked open, static. A dim room. A flickering light, and then Alina Taud, alive, pale, bruised, hair tied back roughly, but unmistakably her. Her eyes were filled with exhaustion, but sharp, aware, terrified. Vin's breath caught in his chest as he stepped closer, his hand reaching toward the screen as if he could touch her through it. "Vin, if you're watching this..." Elena's voice was hoarse, but carrying the strength he remembered so well. "It means they found out I sent Maya." Vin stared, frozen, heart pounding, as the woman he had mourned spoke again. "They didn't kill me. They needed something from me, something I refused to give. But they won't stop. They'll come for you too if they know you're looking for me." Alina paused, glancing over her shoulder as if someone might walk in. "Vin, trust no one." The screen flickered into the video, cut to black. Maya's voice broke the silence. "She recorded that 2 days ago." Vin turned slowly to face her. "Who are they, Maya? Who took her? Who told you to bring this to me?" Maya's eyes filled with anxiety, but she didn't look away. "I don't know their names. I only heard her say they're dangerous. She said they hide in places people would never expect." Vin clenched his jaw. His mind raced through memories, old enemies, betrayed alliances, and every shadow that had ever crossed Elena's path. But there was something more here. "Something bigger, Maya," he said quietly. "You're going to tell me everything." Every word she said, every detail. Nothing is too small. Maya nodded quickly. "Well, but there's something else." She reached into her pocket again. This time she pulled out a folded piece of paper, handwritten, creased, and smudged at the edges. "Alina wrote this for you," Maya whispered, handing it to him. "She said it was too risky to send digitally." Vin unfolded the paper with trembling fingers. The note was short. "They staged my death. They want the Phoenix Protocol. Don't trust anyone in your own circle." His stomach dropped. Phoenix Protocol wasn't just any project. It was buried deep in his confidential archives. Classified under emergency use technology. No one outside his highest inner circle even knew its real purpose. But Alina did. She helped design it. Vin stared at the note, his blood turning cold. Someone close to him, someone he trusted, had betrayed them both, and Alina was still out there. Alone, hunted, desperate, Vin closed his fist around the paper and looked at Maya with a steady, burning gaze. "We start the investigation now." The war for Elena's life had officially begun. The clock on the wall ticked loudly in the dimly lit operations chamber each second, slicing through Vin Diesel's patience like a blade. He paced back and forth, the weight of the chip, the video, the note pounding through his veins with every step. Alina was alive, in danger, and someone inside his own circle had orchestrated the lie that destroyed his world. Maya sat carefully on the edge of a chair, hugging her knees to her chest. Exhaustion lingered in her posture, but her eyes stayed locked on Vin, ready to answer anything he asked. Vin stopped pacing. "I need you to repeat everything. Every detail from the beginning, how you met her, where she was, what she said. Don't leave anything out." Maya nodded. "I was in a safe house, far from the city. She was already there when I arrived. I don't know how long she'd been held before that, weeks, maybe months. She was being watched, but she always found ways to talk to me. Her voice cracked. She protected me. Vin clenched his jaw. That sounded exactly like Alana Fearless. Protective. Always putting others first, even when she was the one in danger. What about the people guarding her? Vin asked, leaning closer. Uniforms. Names. Weapons. They wore black, Maya said. No logos. No names. Their leader. He had a scar across his jaw. He never spoke much, but the others followed him. Vin froze. A scarred jaw. He knew men like that. Allied operators, mercenaries. The kind of ghosts governments hired when they didn't want their fingerprints on a job. This wasn't random. This was organized. He tapped a button on the console. The lights flickered as hidden panels slid open, revealing sleek keyboards, biometric interfaces, holographic displays. This room, a fortress of secrets, had been built for situations just like this. He had never imagined the first time he would need it would be to save the woman he loved. Maya, he said gently, come here. She approached slowly. We're going to find her, Vin said. But I need your help to figure out where she was taken from. Maya nodded again, swallowing her fear. Vin pulled up a holographic map of the city and surrounding territories. He tapped several points, activating heat signatures, abandoned structures, unregistered facilities. Black site reports anything that might hide prisoners without leaving a trace. Think, Vin said. Did you hear anything? A river? Machines? Birds? Maya closed her eyes. At night, I heard humming, like big machines underground, and there was a smell. Chemical. Strong. Vin zoomed the map. That narrowed things. Industrial zones. Old research labs. Bioengineering plants that had been shut down for violations but kept suspicious. Electricity levels. And then one location pulsed red. An abandoned research facility. Officially closed 8 years ago, but still drawing high-power usage. Even his own satellite scans never fully explained what went on there. Found you, Ben whispered. But he wasn't going in blind. He activated his secure line. Ghost unit report. Static. Then a deep voice responded, copy, standing by. Ghost unit his most loyal operatives, hand-picked, almost family. And yet Elena's note echoed in his mind. Don't trust anyone in your own circle. His stomach twisted. Which one of them had betrayed him? Who among his trusted had faked Elena's death? He hesitated. Then made a choice. Stand down, he ordered quietly. A pause. Sir, stand down. His voice dropped dangerously. No movements until further notice. Understood. Vin ended the call, feeling the tension rise in his chest like smoke. This mission. He had to do it himself. He grabbed a tactical duffel bag from a concealed compartment, opened it, and checked the contents: compact weapons, thermal goggles, EMP disruptor, encrypted cum device. Tools he hoped he'd never need again. Maya watched him with worried eyes. Are you going there alone? No, Vin said, closing the bag. You're coming with me? Eyes widened. Me? You're the only one Alina trusted. And the only one who knows details I don't. But they'll kill us. Vin zipped the bag shut and slung it over his shoulder. They'll try. He gently placed a hand on her shoulder, but I never lose. He guided her toward the private elevator. As the doors slid shut, Vin took one last look at the glowing map. The red marker pulsing like a heartbeat. Somewhere in that darkness, Alina was waiting, and he was done waiting. The battle to get her back had just begun. Night swallowed the world outside as Vin's armored SUV carved through the dark outskirts of the city. The road narrowed into cracked pavement and then into dirt, leading them toward the abandoned industrial zone. The moon hung low, a pale witness to the storm rising inside Vin's mind. Maya sat in the passenger seat, clutching her seatbelt with both hands. She didn't speak, but her wide eyes stayed glued to the windshield. Fear, hope, determination, all tangled together. Vin glanced at her. You doing okay? She nodded, though her trembling hands said otherwise. I'm just Scared you should be, Vin said honestly. But you're safe with me. The SUV rumbled to a stop a quarter-mile from the target. Vin killed the engine, plunging them into silence. Ahead, the abandoned research facility loomed, ugly concrete walls topped with rusting fences and shadows deep enough to swallow entire secrets. This is it, Maya whispered. Vin scanned the building through the night vision binoculars. Yeah, and it's not as abandoned as it pretends to be. Through the green glow of the lenses, hidden patrols moved with military precision. Not amateurs. Not thugs. Professionals, synchronized, disciplined, silent. Maya hugged herself. They looked the same. The men who guarded Alina. Vin's jaw tightened. Then we're in the right place. He stepped out, grabbing the duffel bag and handing Maya a small earpiece. Stay close. Don't talk unless I say. She obeyed instantly. They moved across the field, crouching behind rusted barrels and broken concrete. Vin's instincts sharpened, every breath calculated, every footstep measured. He had spent years in situations like this, hunting people who didn't want to be found. But this time, the stakes were personal. Too personal. He reached a cracked drainage pipe leading beneath the structure. In here, Maya hesitated. It's dark. Vin clicked on a low-light flashlight. You'll be all right. I've got you. They crawled through the pipe, emerging inside an unused maintenance corridor. Dust layered the floor. But recent footprints broke the pattern proof the facility was alive. Vin placed a finger to his lips and motioned for silence. Down the corridor, muffled voices echoed from a room. Vin pressed his back against the wall and peeked through a broken panel for guards, armed, laughing over something on a tablet. Vin whispered, "We go around." They slipped into a side hallway, deeper into the facility. The walls changed, less industrial, more clinical. A different purpose. Cold, sterile, wrong. Maya shivered. This looks like the place. Ving noticed it too. Labels on the doors. Containment A, Biooperations. Phoenix Testing. His stomach churned. Phoenix, Alina had written those words in her note. He pushed open a door marked Containment B. Inside were empty cells with thick, reinforced glass. Some had restraints on the walls. One cell held blankets piled in a corner fresh. Not abandoned, but it was the last cell that stopped Ving cold. On the floor, in a small patch of moonlight from a cracked ceiling vent, lay a silver bracelet, Elena's, the one he gave her on their anniversary, engraved on the inside with the words, "Come home safe." Maya gasped softly. This is where they kept her. Ving crouched, lifting the bracelet carefully. The metal was still warm, not old. Not forgotten? They moved her, he said, voice steady but burning. Recently, before he could say more, the entire facility shook with a sudden mechanical thump. Red emergency lights ignited along the ceiling. A siren wailed. A voice boomed over the intercom deep, cold and familiar. Vin Diesel. You were never supposed to find this place. Maya's breath hitched. They know we're here. Footsteps thundered through the hallways, an entire squad converging. Vin stood tall, slipping the bracelet into his pocket. Stay behind me, he commanded. Maya moved closer, fear tightening her voice. What do we do now? Vin glanced toward the shadows ahead, the maintenance tunnel on the far side. Their only exit before the guards boxed them in? We run, he said, and we fight if we have to. He grabbed Maya's hand. Because now we know one thing for sure. More boots slammed toward them. More voices. More guns being loaded. Vin's eyes turned sharp with fury. Alina is alive. And someone in my world wanted her gone. He sprinted into the darkness as the enemy closed in. The tunnel Vin dragged Maya into was narrow, cold, and pitch dark. Only the distant glow of emergency lights pulsed behind them, red flashes that grew brighter as armed footsteps pounded closer. Shadows stretched across the concrete walls like claws trying to pull them back. Move, Vin whispered. Gripping Maya's wrist firmly but carefully, Maya stumbled beside him, breath uneven, terrified but determined. Every few seconds, she glanced over her shoulder, expecting bullets at any moment. The tunnel opened into a wider service passage. Vin pushed Maya behind a support beam, as two guards stormed past the intersection. Rifles raised. They didn't see them. Vin exhaled slowly. We don't have long. They'll seal the exits. Maya nodded, swallowing hard. Vin, did Alina know they'd come after you too? He hesitated only a fraction of a second. Yeah. She warned me in the video. But if she's alive, I'm not stopping. Maya's eyes softened. She loves you. Even in the safe house? She kept saying your name. Those words hit Vin harder than any bullet could. He looked away before the emotions could choke him. We need to move. They slipped further down the passage until they reached a steel hatch. It was rusted at the hinges, but recently used the scrape marks fresh. Veng knelt, pulling a compact EMP tool from his bag. Stand back. A low hum filled the air. Sparks snapped. The locking mechanism sputtered and died. Vin shoved the hatch open, revealing a slanted maintenance tunnel leading up toward the outside. Cool night air drifted down. Freedom. They survived the next 60 seconds. Behind them, voices grew louder. There. They went this way. Move. He's not getting out. Vin grabbed Maya's hand. Climb. She scrambled upward, hands slipping on the metal rungs. Vin followed closely behind, listening to the guards pouring into the passage below. A gunshot rang out, metal sparked inches from his foot. Hurry. Vin shouted. Maya burst through the top grate first. Vin followed, shoving the grate closed and dragging a heavy pipe across it. It wouldn't hold for long. They didn't need long. They sprinted across the overgrown field toward the SUV. The moment Vin got the engine roaring. The grate below blew open, guards spilling out like a swarm of shadows. Hold on, Vin yelled. The SUV tore through the dirt, kicking up clouds behind them. Bullets pinged off the armored rear, sparking against steel. Maya screamed, ducking low. Vin gritted his teeth, pushing the engine harder. They won't catch us. In the rearview mirror, headlights appeared, black tactical trucks giving chase. Of course they would bring backup, Vin muttered. He veered sharply onto a hidden side road, the SUV barely holding traction. The trucks followed but lost ground as Vin maneuvered through the rugged terrain he knew better than they did. Within minutes, they disappeared into the forest. Only when the last sound of engines faded did Vin slow the SUV. Parking beneath a cluster of trees, Maya sat trembling in the seat, staring at him. We almost died. We didn't, Vin said. And we won't. I promised I'd protect you. She looked down, tears slipping. I didn't tell you everything. Vin stiffened. What do you mean? Maya wiped her eyes. Alina. She said the people who took her. She hesitated, voice cracking. They used to work for you. Vin felt the world tilt. He stared at her, heart thundering. Who? He asked quietly. I don't know names, Maya said quickly. But Alina said someone in your highest circle sold her out. Someone close. Vin's fist tightened on the steering wheel until the leather groaned. His circle. His trusted, his brother's dash and dash arms. Betrayal cut deeper than any wound. Maya whispered, Vin. She said it wasn't about money. It was about the Phoenix Protocol. Vin closed his eyes, fury simmering beneath the surface. The Phoenix Protocol, his most dangerous project. One he never wanted used, and now Alina was being hunted because of it. He opened his eyes, gaze blazing with a vow sharper than steel. I'm going to find her, he said, voice gravel low and unshakable. And when I find the traitor, he didn't have to finish the sentence. Maya felt the air shift. War had started, and Vin Diesel was done playing defense.